You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. Today, oh man, we're up early. And we're covering the BBL with Derek Tuttle and Rick Angel. You guys there? Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Flip.
Good morning, Flip. How are you, man?
Oh man, just I worked late, so I'm actually still up. I just pretty much stayed up. I'm like, you know what? It's easier for me to hang over and stay up and catch you guys early enough, so then like that I can make this show happen a little easier.
Yeah, that East Coast West Coast is rough.
But I know I know your morning's pretty much kicking off, your week's still going there, and we're gonna go ahead and let Derek take the air right now, and kind of go over the commissioner stuff right now for the BBL, and then Rick and I will go ahead and cover the rest of the champions there in the BBL to finish off this show. So Derek, the airwaves are yours, man. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Flip. I'm going to talk about some of the things going on right now in the BBL. We're just had a Terror Tuesday coming off our last pay-per-view, New Blood Rising. Lots of things going on, man. We got a lot of new talent coming to the BBL. I'm really excited about it. Our big thing right now is we got Rick's group, the Kid family, being challenged by King Philip and Locke. And in our last Terror Tuesday, Rattler Kid is standing, and King Philip and Locke start to square off with them, and Warbeast joins, and they form a group called the Unholy Alliance. The Kid family, if you're not familiar, it's Rattler Kid, Gaboon Kid, Mamba Kid, and Cobra Kid, and they're an OG group in the BBL. When I took over, it was really Rick, Mitchell Johnson, and me, right, Rick? And I think the Demon guy, and that was about it.
That was it.
Yeah, and so I've tried to do a lot with my TV shows and pay-per-views to promote the people that have been around. Kid family have been like the dominating force in the league. Same with MJ's group. But now they're being challenged by these outsiders, and there's an alliance going against them. So it's going to be interesting to see as time goes on what happens between these two groups. Another big feud we have going on right now, we have Eudoxus Osborne, Justice Washington, and Hubert Roberts against the Premier Players, which is Dash Bennett, Darren Smythe, and Tim Hott. And Eudoxus Osborne and Darren Smythe have been trading back and forth the three-way dance title. They'll actually fight again, the same three challengers coming up next cycle, this coming up. It'll be Eudoxus Osborne defending again against Unleavened Bread and Darren Smythe, who finished top two in the Battle Royal. And so we're looking at some of the same people in there, some of the same issues between the groups, just challenging each other and trying to establish dominance. We have Holy MJ and the Church of MJ. They're recruiting members, and
Nice.
they're capturing people, and they're the way I look at it is I think of MJ somewhat like if you guys remember Undertaker during the Attitude Era when he had the Ministry. I think of it like a mix of that guy and Cyrus the Virus, Don Callis, just sort of this cult leader who is able to, bring people in and captivate them, hypnotize them almost into following his bidding. They're targeting right now Leatherface, Ghostface, trying to get them to join the Church of MJ. Also right now going on, we got Skywalker and Draken still holding the tag team titles, the Terror tag titles from the MML. And then we got some other things going on. $1 Million Miler is trying to recruit the Demon, the icon of the BBL, 5,700 wins in his group. Yeah.
Oh.
And Rick knows. Rick's been there for a long time. This Demon guy, he trash talked this cycle. And I felt like it was when the groundhog comes out and doesn't see his shadow on Groundhog Day. I felt like it was so important.
It's the first time I've ever seen him trash talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get him. I've tried to get in touch with him, and whoever has the other guys, like that Jeff Jarrett and Powerhouse.
The old NWO people.
Yeah, I have to think it's two different guys. That's a mystery I want to unlock. I got to get Scooby Doo and the Mystery Machine on that one. I just want to know. I want to tell the guy, like, hey, I want to treat you like the icon of the BBL, man. You have 5,700 wins. I don't care about how many stars you have. It's still pretty cool. So I'm looking through everything right now. It looks like Justice Washington's going to challenge for the Beat the Champ title this coming
I'll
cycle.
tell you. I'll tell you one that you got that you haven't mentioned that's probably still off of your radars is the LaCroix boys there.
Yeah, I'm excited. This cycle they're going to do. I'm doing a 5 questions segment on my commissioner report, and I'm asking the LaCroix boys about. I just want to get their introduce them to the league, give them an opportunity to expand upon what. So, from what I understand, they were kicked out of the Midnight Society in the IWL, and that's why they're here. And so, I'm going to give them a chance to clear the air about what really happened there. And not only that, we have order coming in. I really like the league because there's a lot of different stables coming in. There's a lot of different groups, a lot of different types of players. So I think it's become really underrated as a league goes right now. I mean, it's at about, as I'm getting a good count, about 50 active wrestlers right now, which is nice. I think it's 51 exactly. Um, and Rick can verify this too. I mean, 10, 6, 7, 8 months ago, there was maybe 18 to 20 guys.
If that many.
Yeah, so it was so getting these guys to come in and get people being really excited about it is pretty cool for me to try to bring this league back from the dead. Um, but yeah, I'm looking at it's got to be 2 managers because the guys got there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's at least 8 guys that I don't know who manages them. So it has to be at least 2 different people. And I'm thinking that the Undertaker guy and the Edge guy is one, and everybody else is maybe somebody else. So that's my big mystery to solve within the next couple cycles. But Demon trash talk, so I was excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah, I want to pretend I know who Demon is, but
Okay,
I mean, because I had one of the Edge managers there in the MML. I forget the guy's name. Rob Bream. Rob.
I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but he's from what I understand, and I speak with a couple people that are in Edge. They don't even know who it is. So at some point, this guy just threw the Edge initials on his, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it's like, how there used to be 2 Ghostbusters, and they were both the Ghostbusters. Like there was the Ghostbusters like the movies, and then there was the Ghostbusters with the gorilla. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you
I
got me on that one, brother.
I
You
Okay,
got
yeah.
me.
okay. Listen, here's a wild thing. We're going off on a tangent, but it's cool. So there's 2 Ghostbusters, right? There's a movie in the 70s called The Ghostbusters, and it's these 2 guys. They're like goofy and a gorilla, and they try to. I don't even know. It's more like slapstick humor and stuff like that, and they made it into a cartoon. And Filmation made it. They're the same people that made like He-Man and some other stuff. Um, so it was a cartoon like in the early 80s, I would say. Well, when Ghostbusters the movie started, they tried to make that into a cartoon, and Filmation sued them, and that's why it used to have to be called the Real Ghostbusters. I don't know if you guys remember that, but
I
yeah, they had to change the name, and it was this big deal that Filmation sued them over because there was 2 Ghostbusters cartoons. So anyway, there's 2 Edges apparently, and I think this guy's just been hiding there for a long time, and no one's called him out on it. Um, but he's got 5,000 wins.
Right.
So, so I mean, no one really cares. It's actually funny. It reminds me of something else. When they had Stablecade this year, you could enter whoever you wanted in it from any league, right? And Kevin Elrod made a virus wrestler named Participation Trophy and
Oh
threw him in.
no. Oh
And I
no.
laughed out loud when I saw it. Like when the results came up, I'm like, who's Participation Trophy? And I saw the name. He makes me laugh. Like I,
Oh.
I thought that was the best ever.
And
So
did they honored the fighter? It just
yeah. It's in there. If you go back and look at the Stablecade results,
oh
whatever cycle
nice.
that was, I have a hard time because man, I live for that stuff. Like just the silliest. Um, Rick can kind of attest in the virus chat that I kind of play around um, and just try to make jokes, but that stuff just makes me laugh so much because this sometimes we get too serious with the game, right? And some of the lighthearted stuff just kind of keeps it brings some levity to the game. Because when you and I talked Flip before, we're taking this real seriously, picking these 20 holds or 15 holds out
Right.
of 90. And so when someone does something like that, I like the humorous stuff.
Oh yeah, no, the off the wall stuff. I mean, it keeps me in the game. I mean, I'm just like, I mean, I'm navigating to to some of these leagues just to, retouch with some of these managers that, are as creative and do all this, off the wall stuff because, yeah, it's what keeps me in the game. I mean, I wouldn't have, navigated out of a league like the MML into the BBL for any other reason. When I was just, it got to a point when I was like, okay, you know, we did what we could do with the MML. Now let's get back to what we want to do, which is trash talk. And now that the BBL has gotten that elite status, it's going to make it a nice 2019, I should say, a nice 2019.
Well, speaking of that, there's a couple big things I want to talk about here. Speaking of 2019, and I'll get I'll have to get with Rick and everybody, all the managers there, but we're starting two big things in 2019. What I'm going to do is all the managers in the league, I'm going to have them register their wrestlers with me so I know who has who. We're going to roll out the winner take all concept. So what I'm going to do is, we keep track of the points, who wins league, who wins TV, battle royal, all that stuff. I'm going to do manager points, and I'm going to roll over all of the free matches, all of the imaginary money for the entire year into one pot. And then at the end of 2019, the last cycle, whoever wins it takes all of it.
Nice.
So hopefully, yeah, that's my goal. I mean, I'm hoping if I can get my cards over 50, I know I could double my prizes. I get 5 free matches and I think 50,000 in high cash. I'm hoping I can get to 10, because at the end of the year, that could be 180 matches, and that could be like $1 million in iCash you could put on a wrestler.
Now, Derek, just while I have you on, can we go over the BBL's deal or match deal? Just I know it's
Sure. And I think sometimes I say it and it confuses people a little bit. The match deal is like this: if you spend $12, you get your regular 20 matches, and if you have you could put 2 of your wrestlers against 10 regional champs. So essentially, if you have 6 wrestlers, you can give 4 of them 5 regional shots and 2 of them 10 regional shots for $12, which I think it's really like for a a limit league. It's a really front page title friendly league, which you get a lot of shots at the champions for $12, I think. So
yeah, no, I definitely took advantage of it. Rick, is that a deal that kind of that draws your attention, where you can just send all your guys at the chaps?
I honestly, I do. I mean, beforehand, I didn't really have to because it was so dead. All my guys were on the title page already. But now I have used it 2 or 3 times here in the last couple cycles where it's been starting to get more competitive.
Yeah, no, especially as like I said, I think in due time, it'll get to those 50 cards easily because, with the managers that have navigated there now, I think it's gonna catch fire. It's gonna catch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the more that people see, because I mean, the thought I think with the league is that it's a good bridge between the NWL and some of the other leagues. Like if you're a manager coming out of the NWL and you go to the Battle Royal League, it's really tough, especially if you have 6 guys. Some of the other ones can be tough too. I haven't been in the CWL for a long time, but I know when it started, it was really hard to get on the title page. The IWL was the same way. It was really tough. So if you're in the NWL, a 485, 490 could find you in the title page, but you're looking, some of these bigger leagues and more competitive leagues, you're looking at 495 and up at least. And so it's tough. I mean, and the BBL has been tough too. I mean, we've had a couple, the Federation champions. I think a couple cycles ago, Cobra Kid was the gold Fed. I know MJ's had one. We've had a couple people come out of it, but overall, I think you have a good chance there with the 6 wrestler limit and the match deal. So I think that's been something that's been bringing some people in.
Now, in terms of while I have you on,
Mm-hmm.
remember we had mentioned the Metro.
Right. And
This was the
actually,
first. It was the first cycle that it actually didn't.
yeah, first one where it didn't go with the elite and the metro wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I get what the idea of it was, but I think that's going to change too because if the certain other leagues too, like are creeping in the top 10, like the NSL is getting in there. Some of the other leagues that are non-limit leagues are going to creep in there. I think the NAL is probably going to end up getting back in there in a couple of cycles too. Um, yeah, some of the leagues it's going to change a little bit, I think. I think a lot of people are going to scale back too in 2019. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with some of the leagues that have been really active. Um, I definitely think people are going to shift around a lot. And I think a lot of people are going to cut back. So it's going to be interesting to see what leagues end up in that top 10.
Now I know when I had Robbie and I know we had talked about the bigger stables kind of splitting up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a sore subject. Um,
It's a
it's a sore subject.
it's touchy right now. It's touchy. It's
Yeah,
touchy.
it a little bit. I mean, people are. I mean, I understand. I think it's made it tough, and I think Rick can kind of attest to it too. Like Virus is a really fun group to be a part of, and it's awesome. I think we had gotten so big that it was tough to know who was even there. Like we had some things happen where people didn't even know who all was in the group, and that's not. I mean, it's okay. It's just. I don't know. It's not a good look, and I think the arms race has been so exhausting for the people in those stables, where everybody's trying to add people and add wrestlers, and I think so kind of the fracturing will help a lot of it'll make more people. I think it'll put more people in the stable race. More stables will be involved. I think it'll help the game. People will be able to cut back, whereas people are adding a lot, I think, throughout the year. So I think it'll be really good. One thing I have to go, but I want to say one more thing before I get off here. One other thing that we're going to do in 2019 is we're going to do the Von Erich Classic, which is going to be a 6-man tournament. I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that I can get some of the best multi-title players in the game. You know, your Frank Belchers, Mike Cook, Kevin DeFranco, Hamilton Ortiz. I'm hoping to get everybody in. If I don't mention anybody, I'm sorry. But I'm hoping to get all those people that constantly hit the 6-mans to come in and make this tournament a really great one. But I hate to cut off, but I have to go outside. I have an 8th grade class waiting for me. So I got to figure this out, how to get out of here. But you guys take care, and Rick and Flip, and thank you very much.
No worries, guys. Like I said, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll go ahead and come right back. Rick, you there?
I am here, Flip.
All righty, man. Now, just want to go ahead and get the champions their due here in the BBL. Now, Rick, as I'm reading this, like I said, I know we're going to start getting a little deeper into the champions and like I said, we definitely got some new faces there. So as I'm going over these champs, you just let me know whether I'm going to mention who's the current champ and who they beat, and you let me know whether it's a new face or whether it's a BBL veteran on the title page. Let's go ahead and start with. And it's interesting that the league champ is the wrestler with no name because yeah, the wrestler with no name. What can you tell me about the wrestler with no name?
I honestly, I think he's only been in here like 2 or 3 cycles, and he's already taken league, so he's off to a great start here.
Yeah, he was the TV champ last cycle.
Yep,
And
he was and beat my Cobra Kid to take league.
and you know what? And he ran house right after that. No one else pretty much no one else met him. I think he had one tie. I think the who was that? Hubert Roberts, the introvert, I think tied him. But other than that, I mean, he took it. So we got a newcomer, the wrestler with no name, huh? So nice to see someone new on the title page. Our TV champion was actually from the Battle Royal. You might know this guy, the Mamba Kid. The Mamba Kid.
Yep, got that.
So he's definitely, like I said, we mentioned with Derek, the Kid family here is they're the faces here. Well, I don't want to say they're the faces because they're not good guys, right? Or what can you tell me about the kids?
They go back and forth. They're not really anything. It's just what I feel like that cycle. do.
So I mean,
They
right now with all the invasions and all the new faces, I mean they're
they're
they're gonna have to hold down the BBL as
yeah they're right now they're going to be faces for a while, and we'll go from there.
we'll see how that comes up for them.
Yeah.
And we had our Atlantic champion Darren Smite.
Yeah.
Looks like let's see here, who did Derek beat for this league? Dun, 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 defeated uh Euduxus Osborne, nice for the Atlantic Championship. Now Euduxus is definitely new to the league. Uh, Darren Smite, is he new?
I believe so too. Um, Need to get the old bulletins pulled up here. Um,
Yeah,
I
no,
believe he is new too. Yes.
new to
I
the
mean,
league. Yeah, no, so a lot of new names on this list. I mean, I'm glad Mamba Kid, kind of held his ground there, taking the
yeah.
TV.
Pretty much a lot of these people on the title page are new to the league within the last 4 or 5 cycles.
Nice, and here's another new champion, Central Champion Troy LaCroix. And Troy beat, looks like Blood, one of the Blood Treats, huh? Blood Treat number two defeated the Blood Treat number two, and the Blood Treats is another new group here as well.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I like it. I like, I love it when we get a nice new mix, like you were mentioning, with the deal that Derek has. You really, didn't have the opportunity to use it because your guys were on this title on the front page all the time. Now we got
Yes.
a lot of new blood. Here's another one. Order. Little Guts took the Dixie champion, and Little Guts took the Dixie championship away from. Let's see here. Alabaster. And Alabaster's the name rings a bell. You know anything about Alabaster, Rick?
Not right offhand, no. I do believe he has been here for a little bit though.
I think I remember the manager or remember the fighter from the NWL days. I think that's where the name's ringing a bell. I think them and the Kick families. I think for whatever reason they're ringing a bell from the not the Kid family, the Kick stable. As I'm looking down on them right there, let's see here. Our Eastern champion, Hubert Roberts, the introvert, and Hubert got that belt off of who? Let's see here. Who did Hubert beat for this belt? I thought I had it. I may have missed that one.
Give me just a second here. He beat Blood Threat 1.
Blood Threat 1. Why I'm over here calling them blood treats. The blood treats, the blood threat 1 and blood. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Next on the list we have Big Tad, and Big Tad beat. He beat Mr. D's nuts. Yeah. Poor Mr. D's
Uh,
nuts. Now these nuts is a BBL. He's one of the legacies there. He was.
he's been here for quite a while. Yes, he has.
Oh man, must suck to be these nuts right now to losing to the newcomers. Oh man, and we have our Northern champion, the Samoan Nightmare, Manuya. Who did Samoan Nightmare? Let's see here. Looks like what a bum. He beat my guy. He beat Paul Taha. Alrighty, so now we know who to go after this cycle. Now I know who to go. Oh man. And let's see here, our Pacific champion, Matsuda Makasashi. What did Matsuda beat for this belt? Pacific champion. Dun, dun, dun. I gotta put this thing in better order next time as I'm looking through this. Who did you beat? Who did you beat? Here we go. Unleavened bread. Unleavened bread. And let's see here. Our Prairie champion, Goomba Kid. Yeah, there we go. Holding it down still. And Goomba got this off of the other Blood Threat number 3. Alrighty. Southern champion, Unleavened Bread. Hope using that battle royal to get a belt. So, congratulations. Let's see here. Our Western champion, Dirty Work. Who did Dirty Work beat? Aha!
Humongous.
He went after Humongous. He went after Humongous. And Humongous is recent, right? He just came over a few cycles
Yep.
ago as well.
Same thing. Just came over a few cycles ago.
Nice. And let's go over our tag team champion, wrestler with no name, and Alabaster. Did I get who they beat? Looks like they beat Onslaught, Tim Yacht, and Dash Bennett. Our TV tag team champs, King Phillip and Dirty Work, Josh Zales. Who did they take out? Oh, they went after Euduxes and Justice, huh?
Yep.
Nice. Alrighty, yeah. I think we see a trend with Locke. Yeah, I know who they're targeting. I know who they're targeting. Let's see here. 6-man, wrestler with no name, unleavened bread, and alabaster. And they got it from. Did I miss that one?
It was the Blood Threats 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Took them out. TV 6-man champions. The boys are back in town. And the boys are back in town. Got it from.
The
Dun, dun,
Ancient Grappler, Hendrik P. Wonderbar, and Mr. Infinity.
And did they get it from Scrubs?
They got it from Scrubs.
That bum! This guy's always doing this. That's it. Oh man, I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to do it this time, man. Those damn Scrubs are going down. Scrubs are going down. Oh man. Now, Rick, like I said, we do have a lot of new faces, a lot of new managers in the BBL. Um, your thoughts on? I mean, obviously, I mean, you came to support, a stablemate, and were you expecting to be there in a quote unquote dead league in one of those at large leagues?
I've actually been here probably a good year before Derek took over.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah,
mean, is this the most activity you've seen it since you've been there?
absolutely. Had a little uptake. Probably about 6 months before Derek took over. I can't remember who the commission came over, took over. Kept it for about 3, 4 cycles, and then decided he was leaving the IWA. So then just dropped back off to where, like I said, when Derek came in, I do believe it was just like he said, me, him, and Mitchell Johnson, and that, like I said, that was pretty much it in the league. So it when I think his first cycle, it had 18 to 20 cards and like 20 active wrestlers tops.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Rick, as we're moving forward, I know Derek kind of, he was in shotgun mode, so he just kind of, threw it out there. But what are your thoughts on what he was saying? Or are you looking forward to the game, but kind of moving away from the, I guess the focus on the at large?
I Like I said, it's however people want to. I can see why people do it both ways. I personally, it's however you want to play the game. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. Like I said, I know I can't handle that big of a roster. That's why I stick with small guys, and I still mess up enough with the small guys to know I can't do the big guy, big roster.
Yeah, no, I think I'm right there with you in that same sentiment where, yeah, I mean, I still think there's going to be room for the game at large. If someone still wants to, play it, and again, I'm curious to cover it because I'm curious to see what's going to happen. If if all those big stables do break up and it just becomes groups of 4 or 5, managers. I'm curious to see if that becomes the new IWA. That would be kind of interesting.
Yep, it would make it a lot more interesting, especially like stable races and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like I said, the game is like you said it. I mean, it's open to any style. I mean, I'm enjoying the current migration, and like I said, as you can tell, I mean, I'm having a blast with this. I mean, just with all the new limit leagues and covering them, getting them on air, trying to get as many people. Like I said, too bad we couldn't get Derek on a little longer because it is fun to get 3 people on talking IWA. But yeah, with time, like I said, I hope to get some more managers on and just like you had mentioned earlier, have these 3 ways and just get everybody's thoughts on air.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm thinking with the Kid family there, and I'm thinking about the unholy alliance and where that's going to lead. But I think with all the new the new people migrating there, I think there's a lot of angles that we still need to kind of work out. So I'm going to go ahead and like I said, I'm keep a close eye on the BBL these next couple of cycles.
Absolutely. So really picking things up right now.
Rick, any last thoughts before we close this show off?
Oh, not right offhand. Just thank you for having me here.
Oh man, like I said, I wish I could get I could get a little more in depth with you, Rick. I'm trying to pick your brains, but all that's going through my head is some of the other angles we're working in other leagues right now. So
Yeah,
I
that
think I think we are going to have to retouch the BBL and knuckle down this the BBL angle as well sometime.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, like I said, you've been listening to Rick Angel and myself, IWA Flip. Uh, Rick, have a good morning.
You too.